And I think we are live. All right.
Mm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another stream. Today, I'm here with Jamie Thomson on my left, the CEO of Vulcan Forged. And also, we have the Dark Lord with us, Jamie Thompson, also, who is
Greetings, wormlings.
lore author of the Vulcan Forged Ecosystem. Guys, great to have you with me today.
Great to be back, George. Thanks for having us. Superior Jamie and inferior Jamie here.
Obviously, I'm the superior one in every way, especially girth.
Perfect. Let me begin by saying congratulations on Binance listing.
Thank
And
you.
we hope
Yeah,
you.
it was crazy because we knew it was coming, but they didn't tell us the time. They're being very secretive due to inside trading, all that kind of stuff. So it was
Yeah,
like 6 a.m. I just got all these sort of messages saying, "Oh, well done, you're on Binance." We had to get everything aligned and everything sorted out. So I'm sort of running on fumes at the moment. But and then Bitcoin died on us literally as everything listed. But you know, market to market, and
Why
luckily,
did
like
Bitcoin
everyone,
go
we're
down?
actually doing stuff and making things, which helps.
It'll recover
yeah.
again.
Unfortunately, today all the markets are crashing due to the new coronavirus
Oh,
version
yeah,
that
right.
comes
Came
out.
out.
But I believe that this will be like temporary. As a community, as a society, we are moving forward and leaving COVID behind us. But markets are markets; they're overreacting all the time. But we are not here to talk about markets. I'm glad to see that we have new people who are not aware of Vulcan Forged and the ecosystem of Vulcan Forged after the Binance listing. So the exposure is huge. So well done on this, and let's educate the people on what actually is Vulcan Forge, Jamie. What are you guys achieving here?
Okay, well, usually I have the Vulcan Verse map as my video background, and I make a joke about living in Hades and Boreas, but now I've got a decrepit air conditioner in the background, looking like I'm videoing from a mother's cellar or something.
Looks
But
like
yeah,
a toilet cistern.
so Vulcan
Shooting
Forge,
yourself over the. Oh, I shouldn't say that. But over the listing, you're having to remain near the cistern.
near the toilet, yeah,
Yes.
puking with regret. So Vulcan Forge, we're one of the few companies that sort of moved from gaming into crypto, into NFT. So we're a small gaming studio to start with. We sort of moved into digital art NFTs a couple of years ago, and then we kind of, do you know what? We kind of missed that whole digital art NFT boom. So we were a little bit ahead of the curve there, and then we moved into gaming a couple of years ago and started with a couple of small games. We got Rock Babies and those kind of things. And I guess VulcanVerse was just a culmination of all the people we've met along the way making these games. For example, Jamie, who we'll talk to in a minute, he's the author of Way of the Tiger. So this incredible sort of fantasy game book set, and that sort of made us realize that we could do something lore based, fantasy based, and we met these incredible artists that made different sort of fantasy characters for us for other games. So I guess Vulcanverse sort of came out of all the different sort of employees we took on along the way. Because originally Vulcanverse, which is obviously a Greco-Roman metaverse virtual world, was going to be, very similar to Decentraland, sort of sandbox where just like anyone can build anything, place cars, planes, whatever. And it was Jamie's idea to kind of sort of make it focus more into the sort of Greco-Roman mythology, which actually bizarrely makes it harder in a way, because even though you're focused on this sort of specific pigeonhole of these stories, they're just endless. And especially, as you know, George, being Greek and me living in Greece, the mythology of Greco-Roman just goes on and
Exactly.
on. So yeah, we're a team of 42 employees. 15 of us are in-house here in Greece. 3 new employees started last week. And yeah, we're just cracking out the games and just generally love what we're doing.
That's incredible. So you have your offices in Greece, and then you have like other offices in other countries, right? That they take on other things.
Exactly, yeah. There's one in Ukraine and one in the UK. It's mostly sort of coders and artists in this house, and then for the other games and the animations, we outsource to different companies that work for us full time. I think India, Pakistan, Ukraine, UK, America. So we're just, yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger as we sort of get more and more popular. And of course, the whole metaverse hype that's happening now, that was just incredibly, I say, lucky for us really, because we had already developed Vulcan Verse, which is like a working virtual world. And then all this sort of, you know, metaverse hype came out with a lot of trailers and promises being made by all these companies, but we've already got our foot in the door there. And so I guess right place, right time, and right idea. And I suppose I should give some credit to inferior Jamie for his lore and his writings, but if
the older, wiser Jamie. Yes. Well, it's sort of, I think it helps the Vulcanverse to have a thematic tune, as it were, in this case, the mythology of ancient Greek and Rome. A bit about myself, I started in the early 80s, I think, doing game books, you know, like Choose Your Own Adventure, Dungeons and Dragons, rolling dice, got 30, 40 years of writing about goblins and computer games, played and written a lot of games from Narcos to Fable and all sorts of things in between.
You have
novels.
a vast experience in game books.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, in gaming and fantasy and novel writing and books of all sorts, comics.
I have to
And
say
so-
the lore is incredible so far from what I've read.
Cool, thank you. Yes, because it was very interesting, because we also did a series of game books set in that Greco-Roman setting, which helped us to create a whole bunch of stories and mythology that gives the flavor to the Vulcanverse. So you don't feel like you're turning up into an empty, you just bought a plot of land and an empty sort of anything place like Minecraft, or, I mean, they have their own advantages in that sense, but ours is very much themed around Greco-Roman myth, which is so rich with storytelling that it feel like it's a good way of adding it a bit more to the pot, as it were, so you don't feel like it's aimless. There's stuff going on all the time, and we've sort of tidied up all the lore with the cards, the NFTs, and the Vulcanites, and they all have their own backstories and their own little stories, which is quite fun. And I had a lot of fun doing it, actually, because it was nice not to do goblins, but to go back to Greek and Roman myth. I've forgotten how rich it is. So hopefully I've added something to it and proven that I am, of course, superior. We're both called Jamie, which is confusing, but then I'll just say that we're related. I created him in a lab many years ago, and then he went mad and escaped, and now he's gone off on his own. And now I work for him. Such is the way of the world. My creature is now orders me about from stolen body parts, as you can tell. He's a bit misshapen because they don't all fit together.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, let's continue with your vision for Vulcan Forge. What do you try to achieve with Vulcan Forge ecosystem?
Well, I could say metaverse world domination, but that would be
Excellent.
true, actually. Yeah. No, I mean, well, it is kind of true. Our ambitions are sort of getting bigger and bigger by the month. I mean, it's funny because when we started this business, I guess, you know, it'd be a lie to say we didn't start it thinking, oh, it'd be nice to make a successful business. Everyone makes a successful business to turn over a successful profit. But the further we've gone on this journey, it's like you realize how the possibilities of this whole virtual world and economy, which I think that's what defines a metaverse is. Like this whole idea of just throwing NFTs in a game, that's in my eyes not what a metaverse is. I think a metaverse is sort of representing an economy within a virtual world setting. In our case, it happens to be a Greco-Roman sort of mythological setting, but it can be anywhere. People are sort of adopting the word metaverse all over the place right now because it's the sort of talk of the town. I think, and it's funny because a year ago I was very much like, oh, play to earn. Everyone, the gaming market is going to be terrified of the play to earn market. Play to earn is going to come in and defeat it. And I realized a few months ago that the gaming market is not threatened whatsoever by play to earn. I mean, the gaming market is a $250 billion market, and people are happy paying to play. Whereas this whole play to earn idea is a great concept, but I think it's very sort of unsustainable in its basic form of just you have to pay out everyone that plays. The key really is to sort of play to earn, to reinvest. And one of the things that really sort of troubled me and sleepless nights or whatever was that I was thinking, well, how can we sort of square this circle where you've got gamers are happy playing better games Crypto people just want to earn money. So how are you going to sort of fix these two things? You know, I thought maybe we have to combine the markets and make this multi-trillion market, but it's not going to work that way. You know, gamers don't really care about NFTs, and crypto people don't really care about the gameplay quality, as we've seen so far.
Exactly.
So I really struggle with that, and then I realized that what actually people like ourselves and other companies are doing, this whole metaverse thing it's a third vehicle altogether. It's not a game. It's not just getting money. It's creating an economy within a virtual world, which because of blockchain, because of tokens, and because of what you can do with what you do in these virtual worlds changes your real life. It's something completely and utterly different. So I think virtual world real economy is where the future is. Everything around it is going to be a little bit off the mark. So yeah, so that's where we're heading. So that's why it's more fascinating to us now than ever it was, because you know it's funny, you see all these sort of sociological differences within the world, because once you add money involved and what's the word, sort of ranking up your status, and it affects you in real life, you're getting all these sort of like class systems and tiers and hierarchies and cliques and tribes and guilds. And yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, people are investing more than just money. They're investing time and I might call it prestige or whatever you want to call it, but a sense of belonging, a sense of them being part of something as well.
Yeah,
which is cool.
It's cool. It's cool. And it's funny, Jimmy, because we've been in this industry like for years. And if you take, for example, existing virtual worlds, a couple of months later, we didn't call them metaverses. Nobody used to call them metaverses. It was just virtual worlds, right? So now the metaverse is getting really popular as a word. You see games putting the word metaverse next to their name. So they're trying to get more market capital through that metaverse name.
Yeah.
And
But
what
they're
you
not the Vulcan Verse.
yes, but they are not VulcanVerse, of course. And like you said before, we have two different categories of gamers. The ones are the cryptocurrency users, who I believe at this current point are far more than the gamers in the blockchain gaming space. This is sad in a way, but it's the reality. Most gamers are cryptocurrency investors and not gamers at this point, probably because we are still very early in game development, right? A great
Yeah.
game needs a couple of years to develop. The
They do,
industry,
and that's why
exactly.
they'll accept a lot less, I think, in terms of gameplay, because you know they've got their games on the side. I mean, you'll find the crypto gamers will still play incredibly good games on the side and enjoy them and even pay for them. But the standard for sort of crypto games has gone down somewhat, because if they can earn money, then you know it doesn't really make much difference. So it's bridging those two industries, I suppose.
Yeah, if we consider that a AAA game needs like 4 years to be developed,
Yeah.
the industry as a whole is not 4 years. So we are very still really early. And since we talk
And
about games,
yeah, and
we
pay
have
to play isn't that? I mean, play to earn, as it were, isn't that new? Really, I remember it being amazed in the 90s, I think it was, or perhaps early 2000s, when it was. I think it was Ultima Online then, and the economic value of that game online was as big as Belgium or something, GDP wise.
Was
And
it
people,
really? What were they trading in?
well, that was the thing, that so that people would come on, and there was this one example, and a guy would employ 3 or 4 in-game characters played by real people, and he would give the real people a salary, and they would scour the fantasy world for magic items, and then sell them offline to characters in the game for real cash, and he was earning a living doing that.
That's incredible.
And so and then a lot of these, and they used to be able to do that in Warcraft, and a lot of these had to close those markets down because they were open to abuse, but also, you know, they were really supposed to be games and not. And some embraced it, and others have stopped it. So I don't think you can trade for real money in Warcraft, although you can trade up things for in-game cash, which always made me think that one day maybe the Warcraft gold piece would be listed on international trading markets as currency. But in fact, what's come along is cryptocurrency instead.
Yeah, exactly. So what you've just described is now being legitimized and is actually happening in a sort of, accepted, embraced form through.
And you've just taken it and made it a feature rather than a sort of dodgy sideline that people complain about.
Black market underneath irony,
Or selling people would sell their character accounts. Warcraft would sell a 50th level druid for thousands. But I think they clamped down on that. But we've just taken the opposite view, which is great.
Whereas blockchain gaming that's the driving force of it. It's just there are a set number of these characters or items, and you own it, and it's yours, and it trades for real money, and it's embraced. And it's funny to talk about these guys paying people to work for them as they were back in World War, because now the big thing in blockchain gaming are these guilds that are coming out. I mean, Vulcan Forged has got YG Guild Games, Merit Circle, Path Down. All these guilds have signed up, bought assets in Vulcan Forged. I think about $1 million worth of assets to rent out to they call scholars. Now we're calling it the Cedalion program, because Cedalion was like a worker of Vulcan. You can because obviously land is, I think the floor price for land right now is about $30,000. So it was, not anyone can play. So we've sort of adopted the Axie Infinity model. We twist a little bit to sort of make it far more sustainable, where you can rent your land out for free, join VulcanVerse, and you share the profits of what you make.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost feudal in a way, that the lord who owned it would make the peasant working the farmland pay him money, but making it free is much more interesting. So everyone can.
Although we try to avoid using the word peasant and slave.
But I
know what you mean.
But this is, there's a little bit of hierarchy, which is fascinating to watch all of these systems evolve. And some of it is things you cannot predict, and also the gaming side of things versus the crypto harvesters, as it were. You haven't yet really got a full game up and running. Like, it took Warcraft 5 years and $30 million in the 90s to make their first iteration of an online gaming. And of course, that was huge, and you don't need to do that. But you've still got lots of functionality to add over time. So you may well be able to create a new market of gamers who also earn, and they're playing for pleasure. And on the side, they earn a bit of crypto. Rent their land to peasants.
Well, that's exactly what's happening, and the more realistic you make this virtual world is what we're trying to do with VulcanVerse, and you just added this economy, added these building tools, added the ability to do what you want. You've basically just sort of created a world with people that just go out there and let's see what happens, because you're involving real money, real building, real behavior, real chatting. And so
it's more Minecraft and Warcraft, but millions of people play Minecraft for fun, and they create worlds for each other to play in.
But what you're doing here actually has some sort of effect on the real life.
Exactly.
And as a designer, it's a bloody nightmare, because you're thinking, well, how can I design economies for an entire world? It's like, here's a nation with a load of people with money buying things and selling things. You've got to make an economy which works for everyone. It's you can't. You've got to sort of say, here are the tools, here's what's happening, and and it unravels. So it's a surprise to us every day what's happening.
I remember I used to do a sort of design column, talk about design issues for Develop magazine way back when, and one of those things is the law of unintended consequences. Like, you'll make a design for something, and I remember a particular game, I can't remember, I think it was Total War, but I found a particular trait that you could reinforce in a character, and it became unkillable. So I'd fight a battle against a horde of Mongols with one man, and eventually he would win because he was an unkillable king. Is it a bug or is it a feature? That was one of the questions. But that was one of the unintended consequences of creating a unkillable king. That is almost unkillable leader. It meant to be at the forefront of a battle, but actually he could win a battle on his own, which is one of the things they weren't predicting that someone would exploit. And it's not a particularly good example, actually. There's plenty of others where features come out of what the players do to exploit a rule or design that you'd set up for other reasons.
But it's even harder though when you involve blockchain, because what you're describing is, from a centralized game company's point of view, they can just remove a character or just change it. And one thing, we've got NFTs, the land, these are tokens that we can't take back, and we can't take these stats back. So it gets even more complex, and everything's permanent and engraved onto the blockchain. It's like you've got to release things very carefully, and that's why we've got this token lava, which probably someone just asked about. I saw in the YouTube thing. That's our secondary token. So the more you play, you earn lava. We're being very, very careful with how much lava we release to be earned. So I know a lot of the community have tuned in to find out what we're doing with the lava. So I can really tell you now that at the end of the month, next week, the Cedalion program is going live. You can rent your land out. It will start as 24,000 lava will be generated each day. Yes, that's for everyone. I know it sounds like a very small amount, but that's deliberate. It'll be released over every hour for 24 hours, and it's first come, first served to earn it. We're doing that because we want to make sure we can control the inflationary measures of it. So it's not just what actually did was, you know, you could earn as much SLP as you want, and you know it just comes to you, and there's not many use cases for it. So we're releasing on a very small tap, a small drip, but lots of use cases for it to sort of keep its value. But yeah, what you said there, that's why we've got to be very careful with blockchain. You can't just nerf a character, you know, and take someone's.
You can't, with like in Magic the Gathering, they'll just take a card out if it's too powerful.
Yeah, which you can't do.
Get all sorts of games like that. But what can you actually do with lava? Other than pouring it over your victims' heads.
Before we go to the lava, because we have new users here, let's explain them what actually is VulcanVerse, what they can do inside the VulcanVerse, and then we can talk about the dual economy and how they will be able to earn lava.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. So VulcanVerse is one of our games. We've got a sort of a Hearthstone game called Berserk, which is all these games are playable now in beta, a bit buggy, but most of them are out now. Forge Arena is an auto battler, 3D chess game. Block Babies is like a cute card collectible game. But VulcanVerse is our sort of behemoth, sort of giant, sort of metaverse. Really, it's like it's 10,000 plots of land spread out over 4 different quadrants. You've got the desert of Notus, the sand, the gardens of Arcadia, the grasslands, the mountains of Boreas, the snow, and you've got the underworld of Hades, Jamie's favorite place.
Land of death.
For the quadrants are like kingdoms, the different areas.
Yes. So there's 4 up there, and you've got Vulcan City right in the middle. And so it's all Greco-Roman based. And every land you start at level 1. So one of our best features, I'd say, and is the building engine we've made. And I'm not being overly confident when I say, you know, it's better than Minecraft in terms of the building engine, because it is. I mean, you can literally terramorph and sculpt your own land and plots and add trees, and every blade of grass you can place on there. So as you move your land up the levels, you get access to more assets, and sort of you can summon higher beasts. We call them Vulcanites, and you can access higher items. And also, you know, there's obviously the financial benefit, whereas you stake PYR on the land, you earn more PYR back. But I don't sort of delve too much into all the tokenomics on a video call. It's not the most entertaining idea. So we do limit the assets you can acquire, as in, like, you can't just put a Boeing 747 in the middle of the desert, you know, but they're all NFTs, you know, you can buy an NFT cemetery, an NFT, all the creatures are NFTs, everything's sort of ownable. But yeah, as you go up the levels, you earn more. And we just incorporated material trading. So you forage materials, you can trade that for lava in game, and you put the materials together to make the blueprint of an asset. Player versus enemy, PvE is starting next month in a different world called Tartarus, where you go and slay demons for lava. We've got these different other worlds with different sort of gameplay mechanics. You've got the Minotaur's Labyrinth up in Boreas. You've got the city of Exandria in Notus, where you trade, and you know, it's just a cool fantasy Greco-Roman virtual world on blockchain designed by fun people. Is the best way to describe it.
That's cool. So are we going to have PvE, like killing monsters and getting experience and that kind of stuff, like in any MMORPG?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we released a trailer of it a month ago of the work in progress of what it is. It's funny because actually making PvE isn't the hardest thing to sort of do compared to the sort of the terramorphing and building and the economy. It's sort of the economics behind a virtual world, which is a lot sort of, you have to put a lot more thought process into it. But yeah, PvE is going to happen in Hades. I know, Tartarus, it's like another world of Hades. You have to go through the Palace of the Dead to access it. And you pay a bit of lava to go in, and then you slay as many demons as you can with your items and your Vulcanites you've got. And then you'll be ranked against the other people who went in there with you that day. and you'll take the lava where your ranking was, in that day. Of course, we take lava as a fee of it all. We steal everything basically, and sort of have to get paid, I suppose. And then everyone splits
This
the
is the
winnings.
way, especially in
So yeah,
Tartarus.
PB will be very interested in this game. Obviously, every MMORPG has to have player versus environment gameplay mechanics. I would like to see in VulcanVerse. I know it's still in closed beta, but it's getting open beta very soon by the end of the month, I
Next
believe.
week, yeah, I can't believe it. It's been a year in beta. It's just been landowners, and they've been so one. The community have been like, they put up with such crap buggies, wigs floating over there, and the wolves attacking like that. Just some really odd stuff. But they've been, they know it's alpha. We've been very transparent with the community. Every game we develop, they see every single stage we go through. So, on one side, that's an advantage because it shows sort of, confidence in us, and we're transparent, and they trust, they know where we're working. But now, as we're getting bigger, we can't afford that kind of those mistakes anymore. Obviously now with the listing on Binance and Huobi and stuff, we've got a lot of eyes on us, and we have to be a lot more careful with our releases. It was fun when we had 20 people in the community, but now we've got 50,000 wallets now, Vulcan users. And they're all ready to join and rent land for free from next week. So probably won't be perfect. I'm sure there'll be some bugs and a little ironing out need to be done, but part of the journey, isn't it, I suppose?
Following Vulcan Forged for months now, you're growing fast and hard. You have a die-hard community. That's fact, right?
Yeah.
And I would like to see in VulcanVerse maybe some siege castles and some raid bosses and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, World of Warcraft. Well, this is something Jamie can help with because he also games far more than is healthily possible for a human. I think.
Mr. Dark Lord, we need castles, siege. We need war.
Yes.
We need to fight to get the castles.
I've written many tales of war and designed a few war games, even in book form. Battles.
Well, yeah. You'll be writing you don't know this yet, James. I haven't told you, but you'll be writing the quest because we've just finished integrating the quest system in Vulcan Verse here. We're testing it now in the office, and we'll be releasing that next month.
Yeah.
Where there were like 5 different types of quests you can do. Most of them are sort of find this, take it there, and or put this together. So the system's quite simple. But it's up to you. You'll be fitting out with the lore and what they have to do, which is like kind of the fun part. So yeah, that's another thing I just want to say. Questions.
Kill the king and replace him with his older, fatter, superior version.
Immutable.
Are we talking about daily quests?
Yeah, daily quests.
I've been trying to kill Jamie every day. Yes.
But the quest is not completed.
Yes, ever since he was 1.
So we are talking about daily quests that earn you lava.
Exactly. Yeah, they earn you lava. I mean, everything kind of earns you lava in the verse. But the key to it is to sort of limit how much is given out and make sure there's lots of use cases. So you burn lava. You burn lava to level up your Vulcanites, to enter different worlds, and of course, which you'll probably go into at some point. We're launching our own blockchain. Which is going on testnet in December, which uses lava as gas. So there'll always be massive use cases for lava. So there's, it's not just inflationary. But yeah, you earn lava from quests, lots of achievement, lots of gamified incentives to keep you addicted. Intermittent reinforcement, so you never sleep and never eat, and your souls belong to us. Oh, I'm a big
Your
screen.
souls belong to us.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Now,
lava eventually can be used to earn peer.
Yeah, well, because we've got a DEX. We've got our own exchange where you can convert lava to PYR, to peer. So it's literally you can earn lava and buy peer with it. And if you don't have enough lava, you use your peer or USDC to buy lava with it. So creating the DEX was quite a good move, I thought.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I remember I read a blog article on Vulcan that you mentioned about the scholarships, which is the next thing I would like to discuss, the Cedalion program. And you mentioned it was really cool, God level IQ. A scholar can start playing for free. He can earn lava, exchange lava for PYR, and buy his own land plot and continue playing. So yeah, I believe we're gonna see God level IQ players in VulcanVerse a lot, since the scholarship programs are not something new for the majority of blockchain gamers, since it was introduced first by Axie Infinity. And like my next question is about exactly this, the Cedalion program, which is, if you guys don't know, Cedalion is the scholarships in VulcanVerse, but not only VulcanVerse, but across the whole ecosystem eventually, right? So
Yeah.
how will this program work, and is this automated, or people will have to create wallets and private keys and all that kind of stuff?
Well, you have to create a Vulcan account, and when you do, that sort of gives you, we're partners with Venly, which sort of like it gives you multiple wallets straight away. So you have control of all your keys and such. But yeah, so we've created this NFT rental system where everything is automated. So you can either, like a Berserk card or a plot of land, you can choose to rent it out for PYR, for peer. So I could pay to borrow your land, and I would keep 100% of the lava I own. Also, all the NFTs I own while I'm playing. Or if I rent out your Berserk legendary card, I would earn 100% of the lava while I'm playing in the tournament. The other option is you allow someone to take it for free, and you split 50-50 the lava earned. So I've got 10 plots of land, I'm going on holiday, I'm not going to be playing myself. I just, hire a Cedalion to sort of come in, play on my plots, and I just know I'm earning 50% of the lava that he or she earns while I'm gone. And so it's all automated. So I mean, literally, we've got an app as well where you can see your lava earnings coming in on your phone, which is kind of cool, I think.
That's great. Having automated scholarships is something incredible, because I know from firsthand that having to manage a lot of scholars manually is a really tough task
Right.
to accomplish, and mistakes happen all the time with sending crypto and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, so being automated
Yeah.
is actually incredible.
Well,
But
I didn't know Axie was manual like that. I mean, I
yeah,
looked
it's
into Axie a bit more now, but I didn't know it was all manual. Yeah.
you have to create different wallets. Let's say you have 50 scholarships, you have to create 50 wallets for them,
Right.
100 wallets actually. It's a bit complicated. Now, let's continue with the players who won't have a scholarship, but they would like to play VulcanVerse, for example, for free. Can they earn without a scholarship program? Can they do the daily quests and get something?
Yeah. That's what it is. It's a Cedalion program. So they don't need to rent it. They would just go in. It's kind of like a classified web. You go to the website, you find a plot of land that's available, you click on it.
Let's
And
assume there are no lands available. Can they, can
well,
they earn?
there's no lands available for rent. It'd be very rare there wouldn't be, but if there isn't, then yeah, they're going to have to wait. They're going to in a queue. I mean, the trouble is there are only 10,000 plots of land. But the thing is, the higher level your land is, the more scholars, Cedalions you can allow on your plot. So if you get to level
Okay.
7, yeah,
Here's a question. So I've got some land
yeah.
and I'm not using it, so I'm having to write everything. But how would I rent it out?
You go to your dashboard, and
Yeah.
you literally just press rent out or join Cedalion program, and that's it. And you
Okay.
become a Cedalion manager, and
I
you
haven't seen that
specify
yet.
how much PYR you want to rent it for, or for free. And the good thing is you can add a little passcode on it. So if you want only a certain friend to come in, or a scholar from a guild you've created, like community members are actually making their own
Right.
guilds, like literally,
Yeah.
you have a password protected land, you send the password to your friend or guild member, and they access that land, and off they go. But yeah, I mean, the infrastructure it's done, and it's going next week, but how it plays out,
I've lost the.
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Here's another
Cool.
question for you, Jamie. Let's say you have land and you rent it out, and you stake PYR in that land. The money you get, the lava you get by staking,
Peer, you get by staking.
you get PYR. They don't go to the scholar, to the
No.
Cedalion. They go to the owner.
Yeah. That's why we said we did a hint on Twitter by saying buy land. Well, I guess it wasn't that much of a hint, because that's why land is incredibly valuable. That the more peer you put in and upgrade, you keep the peer. So not only do you keep the peer from staking it, you also earn lava from renting it out. So Cedalions can only I say only because it's quite, it can be quite beneficial. Only earn the lava they win and the NFTs they find. And seeing as the NFTs are like a minimum $500, even the smallest, ridiculously tiny NFT now, is still incredibly lucrative for scholars to come in.
So wait, if I rent out my land for 50-50,
yeah,
I'm getting half of the lava. They don't have to pay anything to use it. I get half the lava. Do I get any NFTs that they find?
No, they keep those.
Yeah.
That'll be a bit unfair, I think.
Yeah.
They keep the NFTs, and that's a great opportunity because NFTs on Vulcan are really scarce.
Yeah.
They go for expensive, so it's
Okay.
It's
kind of nice though, that the image or the idea that people will really like to see their phones fill up with lava.
Yeah.
You would think that would normally be a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. A ping or a burning crackle sound when
yes.
the new lava coming in.
And then you're on the phone. Oh, my phone's filled up with lava. And the other person on the other end goes, "Oh my God, are you all right? Is your hand burning off?"
Are you sitting in the dark, Jay? Have you just turned the lights off or something?
No, I haven't. I think it's outside light. It's clouded
He's
over.
the Dark Lord.
I am obviously sitting in the dark. I prefer the darkness.
Of course you do.
I can add a little bit of light, I suppose.
Your Christmas jumper on already, I see.
Yes, it's a birthday jumper.
For the viewers that are
It's
watching
right
this
now.
video, lava is already trading on Vulcan Dex, right?
Yep.
I think the last time I checked this, it was like 15 cents per lava token. I'm not sure.
What's it trading on?
Vulcan Dex.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's on Polygon, Matic. You can trade without fees for either PYR or Matic tokens, or maybe USDC. I'm not sure if that's
Correct. USDC. Yeah.
with USDC. And since we talk about lava and PYR, would you care to tell us exactly how that synergy of this dual economy is going to work on Vulcan Forged Ecosystem? Because lava, you can earn lava not only from VulcanVerse, but all the other games of the ecosystem, and through the Open Metaverse SDK that you guys announced very recently.
Yes,
there will be more games.
Yeah.
Lava, which is actually, we're going to talk about this later, but this is really incredible because you guys are offering a play to earn economy actually to other games. So that's kind of massive, but let's focus now on lava and PYR synergy.
Okay, well, PYR is always going to be the heart of the token. I mean, you can't do anything really without PYR. You need to buy the NFT, to stake land, to, actually, it's you generate lava now just by holding PYR in your wallet. So PYR is always going to be like, I guess the cow and lava's the milk or something. But, PYR is a limited supply, of course. There's only 20 million in circulation, and lava is unlimited supply. So that's why the key is to really generate as many use cases as possible for lava, so it doesn't completely, inflate into like a decimal point of a cent or something. So it's 15 cents right now, which I think is great. Really, really good price for lava. We thought it was going to go to 1 cent the minute we launched.
It's a great price.
It really is a good price.
It will go higher.
Yeah, exactly. But so I mean, peer is obviously the life source. So you need peer to own or play or function or trade anything. And lava is the secondary token you earn through it. And the SDK, I know you're going to ask me about it, but I might as well tackle it now. I mean, I don't think, Jamie, I haven't told you about this one yet. The SDK, we created this kit where any game can access all our NFTs, like our Vulcanites, our cards, and implement them in their own games. So, you've leveled up your Medusa to, you've additioned 100 or 200 Medusa, and you've leveled it up to, I don't know, it's attack up there, it's defense here, and it's foraging there. Any other game can use that API, that SDK, and generate the image and the stats in their own game. So your NFT has value by any third party can access this NFT and use it. It's cool.
All right. Okay. So, Jamie, how many projects are currently on Vulcan Forged Ecosystem?
I think nine at the moment. Yeah, 9. We've got Vulcan Verse, Berserk, Forge Arena, Block Babies, 3D Chess, Tower Defense is coming. We've got this augmented reality AR phone battle app, which is going to be coming. It's cool.
All right.
Agora, a digital art platform.
What's the Tower Defense one?
It's mobile
Yeah,
tower defense. Yeah, it's
Can I
you know
run it on
tower
my
defense.
PC?
They come at you, and you've got to throw
Yeah,
arrows
I
at
play a
them.
lot of tower defense games. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we need the most addictive games as possible because, and that of course is going to
Yeah.
earn you lava, and then you've got to pay lava to keep going. So the more sort of addictive qualities we get people burning lava to continue playing, the better. So, and we're just going to carry on releasing them. But I always say in these interviews, we've got to the stage now we've got to condense a little bit now, slow down, and really polish off what we've made because Vulcan Verse alone is just huge, and all these other games. Berserk is a really good game, and that can be taken to the next level. Forge Arena Block Babies have been a little bit neglected; they can be taken to the next level. So I don't think after these 10 games are completed, we're going to work on making sure they're polished and perfect, and then we'll make more games, and on we go.
I've been doing a few little things on the Berserk upgrade. There's guys working on the new cards. Yeah.
And
Just
we have to
writing
mention
text.
that there are many other projects that have joined the Vulcan Verse marketplace, right? It's not
A lot of
the
third parties
projects,
have joined.
that belong to the ecosystem, but many other projects and games are doing. They're selling their tokens and NFTs. Their NFTs actually on the marketplace, like DeFi 11 and many others, right?
Yes, well, because the advantage is they've got a community already, there. We've got a very big community across many games, so I think it's sort of smart for them to sort of tap into a community that can see their NFTs there, and obviously we take a little bit of a fee from them, but everyone's a winner really.
This is the way.
This is the way. Take a fee there, take a fee there, take a fee there.
Yes.
That's it. But and that's one thing I didn't mention about the SDK is that if a third-party game wants to tap into our play-to-earn economy, as you said, they will get, if they hold enough PYR, so they have to buy enough PYR, they are given a lava allowance. Because what we can't just do is just allow them to make their own lava routes and the whole economy goes to crap because they just haven't planned it out. But if they hold enough PYR, they get tiered amounts of lava. So even if they just allocate it terribly to one or two people, it's what's the word, balanced out by the amount of peer they've held, so there won't be too much selling pressure. So if you're a game developer watching, maybe if there's anyone there still, you can use our NFTs, get access to lava, and access to the whole Vulcan community simply through a basic game.
So I could create a game, use your assets, and generate lava that the people who play my game could earn, and then ultimately turn into money.
Yes, exactly.
That's clever.
Yeah, so pretty much new games have.
I'm amazed that a brain that I put in your body parts has worked so well.
That's right, George.
Sorry.
I think it's only natural, at least in my mind, to see a Vulcan incubator coming, like like crowdsourcing for projects.
Yes, we did launch one about a year ago, but we weren't big enough then, I don't think, to anyone to really sort of. We even offered $40,000 grants to people making games. I think we only got about 10 applications, which is bizarre because we're just offering free money to make a game with us, and no one was taking it up. But obviously now it's a different story as we're conquering the world bit by bit. Guess we should offer more than 40K.
A Vulcan Kickstarter will be awesome.
Yes, it'd be nice. Vulcan Vulcan Towers.
All right. Shall we? That's last question from me, and then if you guys want, we can go to the Q&A. I see here on YouTube we have a lot of questions in the other platforms.
Yeah, we did offer. I offered like a free NFT to questions we picked, so it would be a bit unfair of me to go back on that now. So maybe you could pick one directed at other Jamie and one directed at me, and they can remember who the winners are, so I can reward them after.
All right. You can choose the winners, and they can come to you, but you guys can DM on Discord or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you choose the questions, George, and then whoever you choose, they'll get the prize.
All right. How many prizes? 1, 2,
5 questions.
5 prizes. Jamie is very generous today, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So my last question, and intentionally left it for the end, is about Elysium blockchain, which was huge news like 2 weeks ago when you guys announced this. And from what I hear, closed beta will begin by the end of December.
Yeah. We worked quickly on that.
You work really fast. You're moving the development really, really fast.
Well, I don't know if it's because we work fast or other crypto companies just don't work much or quite slowly. I mean, we have proper like hours here. We're like, 10 hours a day and people are working, churning out work.
Gosh.
But yeah, yeah. So, but Elysium could have, it is massive news, but again, we weren't as big as we were back then as we are now. And Elysium is our own blockchain. So our NFTs are on a bit of an inferior blockchain at the moment. So we're sort of moving them onto our own blockchain called Elysium, where we have full control over them. And the gas used to transfer the NFTs will be lava. It's all EVM compatible. I mean, building a blockchain now isn't, it's not, you don't need PhD degrees to do it. I mean, I'm not making it, obviously, we've got a whole team dedicated to it, but there are lots of, I think it's made in Substrate and what else? Rust. And do you know what? I'm not the developers of all this. So
Substrate, Rust, and
Right.
it's proof of stake on Bebe.
Yes. Okay. So you know more than I do about it, but yeah, no, it'd be good to have control of our own NFTs there, and it'd be faster than Ethereum, faster than Polygon, cheaper. All this stuff because it's just NFTs. It's all metaverse. All our games will have NFTs on there. So I think the more we control our own economy, the better. In that.
I suppose also the technology is just getting better as people work out to do it more efficiently.
Kind of
so if you've got a really fast network, that's great. Is it a network? Some of it goes over the top of my bald head. I mean, I started in 1983 with a typewriter. I didn't even have a typewriter. My first book was in longhand pencil, and now I have all these PCs. So I'm pretty techno. I've kept up with it all, considering how old I am. But it's now getting to the point where it's just too hard to try and deal with it. I'll just take it for granted. Okay, it's some kind of.
Use Coinbase, didn't you? You managed to buy Peer on your own, I think.
I'm on Binance now, so I managed to.
Congratulations.
I managed to work it out. I only lost a few hundred Peer along the way, sending it to the ether randomly into nowhere, cursing the screen, No! And then you try and work it out, and you find out you put the wrong link in.
Yeah, that's the other job of blockchain. You can't reverse anything if you screw up. It's gone, and there's nothing you can do. Yeah.
And then you do something, and your fingers are crossed. Is that working? Oh my God, that worked!
Yeah, it came through.
So I also had some NFTs. So I know that I've written the lines and everything on the NFTs, and I sold a few that you just gave me, and I have no idea really what I've sold.
You sold some guns for about $20.
Yeah, I'd written the words on it, so I knew it was like the spear of Achilles cannot be stopped by mortal armor or whatever it might be. But then I just turned those into Peer and sold them on, I think it was Coinbase. I still have no idea what I was selling.
Right, yeah, because land goes to about 20-30K now.
Yeah, I'm keeping my land. Yeah.
Yeah, keep your land.
Yeah, keep it. Prices.
Yeah.
Prices
I'll try and rent it out though.
Yes.
And then find out who's using the Dark Lord's land, demand tribute and rent.
All right, so
whatever that is, I don't even quite. I think it's easier to understand that I'm renting virtual land, having played so many virtual MMOs in my time.
It's not hard to get your head around. You just put up.
No, it's that. It's just that I don't really know what an NFT is still.
Yes, you do.
Just that I used it to buy port and burgers.
It's insane, right? Virtual land eventually will cost like real land, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's so similar, isn't it? You're selling land and people are buying it and they're developing it.
Yeah,
it's just
and
like the
because
real
it's so limited, it's getting more expensive.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
All right, guys. So if you have any questions, now is the time to write them. I will go through YouTube, take it from the top. And we have a bunch of questions here. So from Moon Gatti, he says, I'd love to hear your vision on where you folks are guiding the network, problems you are solving, how you will stand out versus the competition, people and companies you are connecting with.
This sounds like one of those generic questions they ask in every AMA to win something. I'm not sure if we should take this one really. I mean, but because we aren't a network. All right then, yeah, I'll take it. Well, I guess we're actually making stuff. We're a functional gaming company. Is how we stand out. Vulcan Verse is obviously in a world of its own in terms of graphics, in terms of blockchain games and building. But yeah,
You can actually use your crypto to do stuff, can't you?
Yes, well, everything's functional, yeah. And that's the other thing, you're going to get a lot of bizarre Unreal 5 trailers being released over Twitter over the next few months.
Unreal what?
Unreal 5, it's like, you know, it's incredible graphics engine where you can
of course, Unreal 5. I see what you mean. Yes, right.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
incredible
Sure.
graphics, which look great in the trailer, but of course, there's a reason World of Warcraft even now has low polygons. You know, having it actually implemented in World is going to be next to impossible. It's funny the amount of crypto companies now that can suddenly produce better games and quality that enormous billion-dollar gaming studios have never been able to do over the years, but suddenly they can promise they can do it. So.
It's part of the development of all the growth and development of tools to make games. Like, I remember in the 80s, I did a text adventure game, and there was this thing called the Quill came along. There were loads of text adventure games. That's all you could do, and that was a toolkit to make quest adventure games. And then people build and build on that until you could now make MMOs using Unity or I don't know if you could do it with Unity, but the Unreal Engine and all that, and they just get better and better and better and easier to use. So you can have bigger and more amazing projects, which creates their own problems, of course. Bug fixing is not a nightmare, but.
All right. So moving forward, we have Andre from France. Basically, his question is, what is your plan to last and attract people over and over?
Well, we are going to use, obviously, the game. You know, I'm going to pass this to Jamie because he obviously plays a lot more games than I do.
Well, that's an interesting question because I've played lots of games that sometimes I give up after half an hour, or some of them really work. Yeah. Or, for instance, I'm playing Elder Scrolls, the card game, which is like Magic. I must have done about 900 hours of that because you have all these goals, micro goals, I suppose, is one way of doing it, and you eventually reach the top. Reached the top in Scrolls, and then got bored, and then did it again because it was such a fascinating. It was backed up by excellent gameplay. So what you need is plenty of objectives to drive for, and that's, I think, what the crypto side of it can add, because you can always play to earn. So I can't see that you'd really start giving up, although you might make enough money and retire. But then you have to have it backed up with some decent gameplay, and that's the size and spread of the Vulcan Verse can allow for. So you can, which is the clever thing about having, if you get bored of doing the Minecraft side of it, you can play the Berserk game for a while. And so there's always different ways of earning your lava and using it. So it's kind of like just taking what most of these games do, like card games, like Magic and the Elder Scrolls are great because there's always another card to get, and they keep releasing new card sets which change the way they're themed around various things. Like Magic the Gathering has just done a kind of vampire death packs, so that a lot of that would constantly be added to, refreshing the VulcanVerse universe.
Yeah, and also incentivizing leveling up, which is the main thing. You know, just like there's a reason to go up the levels, obviously to get more PYR, but also to get, you know, better equipment, better gear, better looking land. You know, keep that reward mechanism in place, which all games do. Like World of Warcraft, I think you should level up and up and up and up, so like hundreds and hundreds, and
until your dad got to level 72 or something, and finally.
And then they added 73 or 74, I think, or something.
As a druid, and then most of the games nowadays are like that. I've just been playing a game called Outriders, which is rather cool story-wise. I'm playing the single player, not MMO, because most of the MMOs I just get shot by a 12-year-old kid from the other side of the map. Don't know why. While I'm rolling around trying to master the controls. But anyway, that's got this fantastic item-driven, endless upgrading system, plus a very long and kind of complex skills system. So it's all, those are just examples of one ways of constantly adding little incremental goals for the player. And in the end, though, people will play for hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. We have a bunch of questions here that came the past minutes. All right, so does it cost PYR to be able to rent out your land? There is a fee you have to pay one time, right? Depending
to be a
on
Cedalion manager. Yeah. So we did this whole sort of story about this guy called John who had no lava, no PYR, and he rented land, and he earned half a bit of lava. He earned enough to make enough, buy some PYR. Then he bought his own land, and he paid the fee to become a manager, a landlord, and then he became the landlord himself. So yeah, to become a manager, you have to pay a fee. I think
it's like the story of a mate of mine that I went to school with, and he scrimped and saved, and eventually was able to buy his own house after developing others, and now he has 40 houses. It's the same kind of story of starting with nothing and slowly building up until he's got a property empire.
That's property empire in Vulcan Verse.
Virtual one that some of the land is probably worth more than real land in some places in the world. There's probably plots of land in remote parts of Wales and Scotland that are worth less than the actual value of your virtual land. Perhaps not Wales and Scotland, but certainly maybe. Yeah.
And I think part of it is the fact that you don't think it's real money kind of thing when you're buying an NFT.
Well, also, if you buy real land, you actually have to spend a load of real money on building stuff. It's a lot more complicated, but in a way, it's easier to develop virtual land.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on with the questions.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Dark Lord,
oh yes,
I have a question for you here.
Yeah.
What do you have planned for you when all game books are finished?
Well, when I finish the game books and taken the payment from my boss, I'm going to kill the CEO and take over. Suddenly, there'll be a new Jamie in charge. We'll just have a rounder, fatter, balder head. On the other hand, there are 2 more game books that we have finished. So they'll be coming out on the 1st of December, very soon. So you'll have the Pillars of the Sky, which is the Boreas-based game book, and the one I've just written, The Wild Woods, which is all about set in Arcadia, full of all sorts of fun Arcadian adventures with Velocina and Chiron or Chiron. Lots of the Vulcanites appear in that, and there's a lot more crossover adventures, so you can go back and forth from Hades and the deserts into them. And then after that, there's a 5th game book, which is going to be the Workshop of the Gods, which is the Vulcan City game book. And then that'll be all the collection of game book tales for the Vulcanverse. And then after that, I don't know, I'll probably be doing these quests Jamie was talking about, and also more cards. But maybe there'll be time for some novels set in the Vulcanverse if it really takes off, or game book DLCs, as it were, where we add little game book adventures that you can plug into your original game books. We'll have to see how they do. We need to set up a tab on the Vulcanverse website selling the game books, because we soon have all 4 of them ready. They look cracking. We've got some great art as well. And then maybe we turn the game books into NFTs. I don't know. Can you do that? Is there any point?
Kind of. Yeah.
Maybe that's no need.
No.
All right.
So yes.
Okay, so we have from Yoel123. He's asking if the land prices will stay fixed with PYR, the price.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's how it works. Yeah, I mean that's the whole idea of tokens and their value. I can't really stop people putting it up for the market what they want. I mean, what a PYR? I think what is it, $35 now? I mean, PYR, what the dollar value of that is, who knows? So it will always be up to the seller. The market will dictate the price.
Yeah.
So yeah.
From my experience, when the main token of a project is rising in price, so does the value of the land, whether it's fixed or not. The prices are rising, guys. Okay, so another question from Vivid here.
Thank you, VVVids, for recognizing the true inferior, Jamie.
If the crypto markets enter a bear market, do you think play-to-earn games will perform well in comparison to other projects?
It would certainly help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? When the economy goes to crap and all the markets go to crap, people are going to play games more. I don't think all gaming tokens are going to be immune to any bear market. I think Bitcoin is still kind of leading the way a little bit, but yeah, I think we've seen it already. Every time there's been a dip, every gaming token lately, nearly every gaming token has either gone up or staying pretty stable. I mean, looking at the chart now, I think even Peer's doing quite well against the Bitcoin crash. So yeah, I think
still going up.
we can't talk about markets, I'm afraid, Jamie. It's
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
but yeah, of course, the tokenomics are good. The perfect thing is to have a correlation between more users, more token usage. And I think if there's a correlation there between the more people that use your token, the more value it have, then you're fine. And I think that's why gaming is so great, because you can add so many use cases to it. Whereas if there's more users coming in and the more tokens are used and then needed and they're burned, then yeah, there wouldn't be a problem. But I can't really talk about price and stuff like that, obviously.
All right, let's move on.
Faceless, good question.
Yeah, Jamie, yeah, please.
You want to read it out?
Jamie, would you like to be able to integrate the game book into the Vulcan Verse as quest? And since we like the question,
Yes.
let's him with
So
an NFT.
we originally had the idea that we would try to do these tie-ins between the game books and the computer world, but so far, I mean, more directly, like you might find a code word that affects the book in the VulcanVerse 3D environment, but we could never really make that happen. But now, yes, I can tie in. I could sort of integrate them, so you could have quests in the real world that, in the VulcanVerse world, that are mirrored in the game book world, so they could be the same quests. But there's not much that you can really do to. Maybe we could, though. There is a way we could do game book DLCs that if you complete the quest in the real VulcanVerse, it unlocks a quest in the problem is the print world is so easy.
Well, it's already made. We'd have to incorporate what you've written already.
Well, you could do DLCs, so you could have not really DLCs, but you know what I mean. So a little pamphlet or little added book section that you can't stick it into the original book, but it's like another short quest coming off places in the game book somehow. It should be a way to do it, but I mean certainly we can do it thematically. So you can have mirrored quests in the books and in the VulcanVerse that follow the same plot line. But whether we can add more to it than that is another question. What are you eating, inferior one?
Starving.
Yeah.
All right. So, channel of
healthy food.
Yes.
Channel of woe. Good name.
Does the Frenzy SDK allow users of user uploaded NFTs? Like, I know that you guys are doing this custom.
I mean, it could. I mean, that'd be the next iteration. I mean, obviously, it's not there yet. I mean, no reason why we couldn't. I love the idea of people because we've got Agora where people can make their own NFTs and they can add their own metadata. So there's no reason why we couldn't allow people to add their own NFTs with their own metadata and other third parties use those. In fact, that's a great idea. So Channel of Woe, I'm going to be stealing that idea, writing it as my own, and pretend you never asked the question.
It's a bit difficult if this is being recorded and you've just admitted it.
Oh, right.
Perfect.
Well done, Channel of Woe. Good idea.
Stealing his idea, give him an NFT. So let's sell a Channel of Woe for one NFT. Right? It's a good trade, buddy. Take it. Okay, so Andrew Kinsel says, how important are gods in the Vulcan Forged ecosystem? Are there any benefits yet to be released? That's a question I also have.
Yeah, gods are as valuable, I'd say, as land probably eventually, because the higher level god you get, the more percentage larva you get. So actually, they're direct impact on your earnings. So if you feed Hermes up from a baby to level 7 adult, you'll get 70% more larva when you run around the verse. And also the other massive thing gods do is they add a percentage to your staking rewards as well. So you have a level 2 god and you assign it to a plot, you'll get 20% more staking. So financially, in theory, without any sort of, not giving financial advice, of course, blah, 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 it's, I guess they would be. Then again, there's only 10,000. I don't know, but they are valuable. I couldn't say land or gods are more valuable than one another, but they are both. Well, they both give you tokens. So they both pay you out somehow. So yeah, gods and land definitely the most valuable, I'd say.
Yes. All right. So moving forward, we have Gerard Duplessis. He's asking, are there any plans to introduce other fantasy genres like Vikings, Crusades, Knights, and demons?
Yeah, we are releasing 3 more metaverses, but I don't want to overwhelm everyone yet. I think the whole VulcanVerse community wants us to see us deliver this perfectly first, but we have got some other, we're doing this sort of samurai ninja world. We're talking with Jamie here, or maybe adopting Way of the Tiger series into that.
Here is a map
metaverse.
of the Way of the Tiger
There it is.
world. You can all see it, can you?
Yeah.
So that would be like the world of Awe, a fantasy world full of ninjas and goblins.
Yeah. So
Is one option. I'd like to do a Viking one myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. My evil boss is not so keen.
Do you know what we really want to do? Is the what's the name of that Hindu law of gods?
Yes, the Mahabharata.
Right, that one. Yes,
Mahabharata.
that. The question is, though, I mean, I was talking to guys in the office here. I was thinking, well, because it is part of the Hindu religion, are you treading a fine line there? But then they said, well, don't forget the Greek gods were actually a religion at some point.
Yes, but they're not worshipped anymore, are they? They're not an actual living religion.
True.
Well,
true. Difficult one.
I mean, yeah. They are in my house. Obviously, I sacrifice to Zeus every night.
But yeah, we are.
And Hades.
We'll definitely do a Ninja Samurai one. Whether or not we adopt the whole Way of the Tiger lore and series, we would not sure. But either way, we will do that kind of sort of ancient sort of Ninja Samurai version. I want to do an Arthurian one, but yeah, I mean we've got the whole engine, the model ready, so really it's a simple sort of copy paste, I suppose, of the code and sort of replacing the assets and the graphics.
Very cool.
Arthurian, yeah, Merlin and Guinevere.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a lot of questions. McWeasel,
Let's do two more because
two more. All right. So since we started with this one, we are doing. I'll select the two best that will get awarded with an NFT. So McWeasel Crypto Freedom says, is it possible that VulcanVerse will eventually move towards VR?
Yeah, definitely. We've already got the AR working. The AR, the augmented reality app we've got, which is amazing. We work with this Ukrainian company who do this AR for us. I mean, VR is the next step, really. But until we have, Vulcanites not getting stuck in the terrain where they walk around, I think we've got to sort of walk before we can run. But yeah, VR, absolutely. I mean, the AR is the next step to it. And so, yes, we don't have any sort of limits to our ambitions.
Yeah.
So we have Crypto Fundito here who is asking a really, really good question. He says, Jamie, the first 40 years of PYR reward pool are locked in at 208,000 PYR month, he says here. Can you elaborate on what funding for 5 years plus are anticipated to look like?
Yeah. So at the moment, everything in here we get sort of put into separated. We take, I think, 6%, 5% or whatever on trades and blah blah blah. Half of that's been put towards a separate pool. It was going to be the play to earn pool, but we replaced that by the whole lava idea. So now that's going to be our treasury, which is going to grow and grow and grow over the next 4 years. So in theory, it would, it could last for 40 years if it's big enough. If the war chest is big enough and there's enough trading activity for the next 4 years, then it will be, more than 10 million PYR to sort of separate. So we're keeping half of all our fees coming in, and we'll be using that to replace the 10 million we put aside for now.
All right, perfect. Now let's find the last question, guys, for today. Let me see here.
There's only 2 questions left.
Let's do 2 more.
Might as well. Especially as I'd like to know the answer to both of them.
Okay, so Zulu One says, is Vulcan currently at the stage to start absorbing other IPs and integrating them into the VulcanVerse metaverse?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I didn't see that one either, no.
See that
yeah, I mean, it's difficult because we're obviously very themed, VulcanVerse. So it's not like, I know Adidas recently did a deal with Sandbox. And Sandbox, we love the Sandbox guys. I mean, we're doing a collaboration with Sandbox game. For what it's worth, we're doing kind of cross-character collaboration. We're making a Sandbox. We have made a Sandbox Wizard, and they're making a Sandbox version of ours. But it's hard for us to incorporate sort of main corporations into Greco-Roman law. I guess,
Talk to Nike.
Of course, yeah.
Goddess
of
of
course,
victory.
yeah. Nike was a goddess.
Goddess of victory, yeah.
Goddess of victory, right, yeah. No, that isn't a partnership with Nike we just announced on the stream, just in case anyone wants to put that.
Yes, oh Christ.
All right, so
If they're
guys,
listening, contact us.
Yes.
last question, and it's a really, really good one, which I think you guys should implement. David Barnes asks, any plans to introduce audio chat between people in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard. I mean, right now, I don't know if people want, I guess they can turn it off. I don't know, the trouble with audio chat is it sort of it brings you back to reality a bit too much. People like the anonymity of running around as, whoever they want to be in this world. I guess it could be optional. I know World of Warcraft had it, but that was more for tactical reasons. You sort of planned with what you were going to do. Here is a bit more solo adventures where you don't want to walk around and talk to someone. But yeah, I mean, as always, we put every decision we put to the community. They vote and they sort of choose, and if they want it, we put it in. I mean, the whole idea of a metaverse and virtual world is that you listen to the people inhabiting it. Otherwise, it's a sort of North Korean metaverse, which could work.
No one could leave it. No. Trapped forever in the Vulcan Verse.
Freeze their computer.
But hold on a minute. There's one question: are there plans to allow users on without renting land? How would you do that? Just do the quest, etc., and self-earn.
Well, that's the Cedalion program. They go through it.
Yeah, but you still have to rent land, though.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we are going to have a special, not for the main world, but you can pay to enter the other worlds. Now, the only reason we're doing that is we want to test out capacity first. We want to see what it's like with 70,000 humans walking around if all the Cedalions are maxed out.
When you say the other worlds, you mean you can pay to go into Tartarus?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Okay, you don't need to rent land to do that, right?
Yeah, because Vulcan Verse mainland, there's a reason, the graphics aren't, but they're great, but there's a reason why it's not like Unreal 5 is because you're walking around and everyone's building stuff literally as you're walking. I mean, they're terramorphing around you. We have maxed out the amount of polygons we could possibly do in that environment. And
of course, and you can't control it either. You can't predict what is going to happen. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the whole point, yeah. So the other little question was PvE combat function. It was going to be turn-based or parrying, like a first-person or third-person shooter game.
It's first-person. You walk around. There's a trailer we put up on Twitter where you can they come at you and you can choose to defend, parry, attack. So it's like real-time combat. There's another game recently which is all about that kind of first-hand combat. I've forgotten the name of it actually, but we kind of sort of adapted their system into it. So
there was one called which was a medieval Czech one. It's really good actually. What's it called? The Kingdom Deliverance. That wasn't the one you think of. That's got complex. You've got to master bows and swords and parries.
And all that. I mean, I wouldn't say it's
pretty hard.
Now.
But,
right now, it's just slash and defend.
Yeah.
We're not Ubisoft yet.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So I got the winners on the screen here, and I write them on the channel. You guys can DM Vulcan, provide proof that is you, right? Do not DM if you didn't win. Don't do stuff like this. And guys, thank you very much for being here with us on whichever platform you are watching this. You guys are the support of the Vulcan Forged ecosystem, and thanks to the e-gamers audience also for being here. Both of you, James, thank you for doing this. It's been a pleasure.
It was fun.
Always great to see you, George.
Great to ride all these past couple of months, seeing Vulcan Forged growing that much, right? In all possible ways. No, I'm not talking about the token price. I'm talking about the community, the projects that are joining, things that actually matter, because the price never matters. What matters is the growth of an ecosystem, the growth.
Community. The community made the game.
Exactly. All right.
Thank you very much. Good to see you, Big J. And
yes, little one.
Speak to you both offline, I'm sure. Thanks for everyone for tuning in.
All right. Cheers
Take care
all.
now. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Fare thee well, wormlings.
Until then, keep it crypto.
I have
See
to
you next time.
keep it crypto. Yeah.